Hey everyone, and welcome to KultCast Episode 1. I am the Switchblade Cult. Joining me today are frequent guests on the program, QuestionC.
Hi, I'm QuestionC, and Colt's pretty old friend.
Azzanadra.
Hey,
And Moy.
What's going on, Amoy?
Alright, so why don't we get started with a little bit of news. Do you guys hear about, what's his name? Let me pull up. Don Matrick leaving Xbox.
Yes.
How does that make you feel?
I don't care.
somebody had to take the bullet for that complete, total failure of the marketing message of that Xbone.
Yeah, I'm sure they had like legitimate reasons other than that to get rid of him. But yeah, like it doesn't matter. It's not like one guy's deciding everything.
Well, the fact that he went to from Microsoft to Zynga of all places, which is tanking pretty badly.
He's still he's still like a company president. I mean,
It's
Well, I think he didn't get fired from Microsoft. He left
No, he
go to
really
Zynga.
left.
yeah.
he definitely left on his own accord, but there's not to say that there wasn't pressure behind it. You know, you to kind of save face, he left on his own, but did they give him that option? You know,
Yeah, but why did he go to Zynga?
that's what exactly like.
Why would you go from one horrible PR disaster to an even bigger PR disaster?
That's my point. Whereas maybe it's punishment.
Punish.
Karmic punishment. That's it.
Sorry, Don. You've been a bad boy. We're sending you to Zynga.
Where bad developers go to burn.
So, what are your guys' opinion of this whole Zynga crashing and burning?
I'd lie if I didn't take a little pleasure in it because they make games I don't like or give a crap about. But I don't know. Like, wasn't Zynga's basic business model to make Facebook games? They're like very low creative effort.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yes, yes.
I don't know.
Low effort Facebook games with a lot of funnily stolen art assets.
Yeah,
Very popular
and
thing.
like
Yeah, that was
gameplay assets.
Yeah, there was a bunch of controversy around a few of their games. It was like the City Towers game and a couple others where, like, they were blatant, full ripoffs. Like, even the art assets looked pretty much like they just took it and like changed a few little they elongated this one and they changed the color palette here, but it was pretty blatant.
Oh,
And stop
so I
pushing.
guess I'm happy.
Yeah.
Zynga's burning.
I'm a little sad to see people lose their jobs, because the industry has been struggling lately with a lot of companies going under. But I don't know. It's sort of that whole. Do you feel bad for the contractors who worked on the Death Star when they died? Just like,
Well, they knew what they were getting
working
into.
for Zynga, helping them steal other people's IP.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure there's plenty of people who worked at Zynga who aren't, evil. Not evil, but you know what I mean. Like,
Without like they have morals.
yeah,
I don't
exactly.
care.
Yeah.
I mean, part of making the lowest possible effort games is you do it with as few people as possible. Like if other companies that actually create things get business, they'll probably hire them or better people. I have no idea. I'm just happy. Like all those people that fucking love Zynga games are like, soulless and uncreative. They have no outlet. They're gonna have to turn to real games now.
And they're just gonna look at a keyboard or hold a controller and just go, nope, I'm out. That's probably it. Also, because
Or they could, I don't know, like go on.
They'll all start
Congregate.
playing Dark Souls.
oh
No.
yeah, sure.
I don't entertain that. But you can play stupid Flash games, but
I love it too.
There's
not like soulless corporate.
There's still solitaire on.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah.
That's what Grandpa does.
Exactly.
So speaking
Well,
of
then
Crappy
again, he
Flash
also-
games, what do you guys think about this whole Atlas's mothership company going out of business?
It's not going out of business per se. It's entering some kind of like pre-bankruptcy state or something like that. But it basically pretty much is.
They're selling Atlas, and that's it. I don't think it matters. I'm curious to see how they get bought, but I assume they'll just get bought by some other holding company.
As long as they get to, because Atlas is one of the few companies that actually took risks to bring like crazy games ported over from Japan.
Yeah.
And as long as they get to keep that, as long as they get to keep doing that, I'm sure they'll be fine.
I mean, I haven't heard anyone suggest in all this that Atlas is somehow not successful or a big money loser or something. As long as you're profitable, you can probably keep operating pretty much the same way. Like, whatever company acquires them might try to, make them a little more efficient. And that can go bad, but for the most part, if Atlas is doing fine, whoever buys them probably wants to buy them so that they can keep doing what they're doing, which is publishing games. They develop a few games too.
Hopefully, because
Hopefully, because you want to get your Catherine on.
no.
Oh no.
I never played Catherine.
Neither did I, but I really want to. You guys are
I
crazy.
saw parts of it. The whole exterior part that they marketed was that was not the part to show off.
Wow. We'll talk about Catherine later.
If we ever
Was that a
to
jar?
do that.
Yeah.
Like a mason jar?
Yeah.
Are you calling this man out on drinking out of a mason jar?
Yeah. Yes, I am.
Good man.
I like it because
We are nothing but class here on the KultCast.
Oh, I mean, it's the biggest glass in the house. It's classier than drinking out of like a, I don't know, 32-ounce gas station cup, I suppose. I don't know.
Do I have any of those sitting around? I might.
But I'm not worried about Atlas. I'm sure they'll stick around, and even if they don't, I mean, they're mostly a publisher. I'm sure, like a lot of the games they published have pretty much established themselves. Like, I don't think Vanillaware would hurt if Atlas disappeared. They just find another publisher. I don't think Nippon Ichi would hurt. They just find another publisher. Some of the other games that Atlas publishes would probably not do so well, but they're all
big
unpopular
thing
ones
is,
no one cares about.
Big thing with how Atlas operates is that they know that they are a niche market, and so they set their so they basically set themselves up accordingly for a small market, and so just that's how they get those crazy pre-order deals, because they know 90% of America is not going to give a shit about I don't know, Shin Megami Tensei 4 or something like that. So that they know how they can basically they don't have any high expectations, so they end up getting them. So they know what they're doing. So hopefully a company that buys them knows that and doesn't try to Mass Effect 3 them out or something.
Turn them into the next what
next
is
Bioware?
it? They're trying to do with Dark Souls 2, where they're like, no, we must make it bigger and grander and spend a lot of money and get all these people.
That's something they don't spend any money on marketing.
Atlas?
Or
Yeah. They don't market because they know whoever is interested in their stuff already follows exactly what they're doing.
They do a little bit of marketing. I saw when Catherine came
depends.
out, I saw a few adverts, and I saw a couple websites had. I think the Escapist had a Catherine background when it came out. They
Look how
do
well that worked out.
A little bit of advertising. It's a little bit. Well, it's a lot better than some game companies. I mean, there's a lot of games that come out that get zero advertising. I mean, not even anything. They're just like, what, this game's out? I didn't even know. So, Nintendo's going to stick to region locks.
I don't see how that's surprising.
It kind of, well,
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of is to me, because I mean, their competitors have denounced doing region lock. So it would make sense if Nintendo went along with that. Seems the industry's moving away from region locks, and they're just nope, rooted in the ground, doing the old thing.
Does the Xbox One not have region locks?
Nope, no region
They
locks.
also dropped that as part of their 180, but it won't be region locks aren't that much of a problem if you actually release your games in all of your regions. That's really the only time where it really gets in the way. I mean, people imported the hell out of Xenoblade Chronicles before they actually released it in America, and that's probably. And
Yeah, I
if
can see
that
that's a
thing
problem.
was region locked, that would be a huge issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. Region locks always never made It never made much sense to me as a consumer. Like, kind of looking at it from a business angle, I can see, there may be, just the way like taxing and pricing and things happen, like in Australia, where because of different political forces in Australia, they have different game prices. You pay $80-$90 for a game down in Australia for reasons. But yeah, I think with the Xbox One and the PlayStation 3 getting rid of the region locks, we're gonna see a lot of homogenization in the market, because if everyone can buy stuff on the cloud or from Amazon.com, why should I pay $80 in Australia for a game I can buy on Amazon for $60? And I don't know why Nintendo would be afraid of that, though, or why they would. I just don't see the motivation for it. I don't see the reason why Nintendo would keep it.
They've been afraid of the internet to start off with.
They would.
They've been afraid of the internet. Like, there was that whole friend codes thing with the Wii, and with the Wii U, like, your account is tied to your console. You can't transfer your account or your between consoles, like through the internet or anything like that.
Huh.
They just sort of don't touch the internet at all at Nintendo, probably because most of their core audience that they're aiming for doesn't really have those use cases where, some guy has a Wii U, you make an account on his console, and then you go out later and buy another one. Well, tough.
I feel like they've always had that mentality though. Like even going back to the N64, where there are 4 controller ports. They're the first ones to do that. So everything's pretty much localized for them. So
Yeah, that never really caught on though. The 4 ports. I remember PlayStation
Yeah.
2 had that crazy flying wing adapter thing, but no game supported that. 4-player local. Well, there were a few, but it was so few that it's just no one had one or no one really cared. I do remember playing a ton of NWO versus the World on N64. 4-player.
oh yeah,
Best multiplayer game ever.
over GoldenEye. Are you gonna
You know what? I would say even over GoldenEye.
you blasphemous bastard.
That's
Bring it, haters. Like, comment, subscribe.
Just, like, not even GoldenEye or Super Smash Brothers. Come on.
Super
Even I
Smash
had a
Brothers.
childhood there.
No, don't get me started. Don't get me started on Super Smash Brothers.
What, you don't want to just, like, sit down together and then just immediately 10 minutes in turn it into a fist fight?
No, that's Mario Party.
That's every Nintendo Party game, I think.
Yeah, see, I don't know. Mario Party works out though, because usually you're a few drinks in when you're playing Mario Party. When you're playing Brawl, you're just all super focused. I don't know. I think it's there's a really mixed bag with the fighting game community. Like, I don't know. It just seems like the Smash Brothers community is a little more intolerable than the general fighting game community. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of really cool people in the fighting game community. I don't know. They just have a really bad reputation. But as far as game mechanics go, I just hate the way Smash Brothers works. Just everything about it. Just, this game is not meant to be competitive, and it's just competitive by accident.
Yeah, I haven't played it since the GameCube version. It was basically just a like anybody could win. I don't know, maybe some hammer will just drop from the sky. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that you had to put all these mutators on the game to make it competitive, you had to turn off, you can only play one stage, and you had to turn off all the items and turn off all the special effects and all this other stuff. And by the time you have to whittle it down to this very small subset of the game to make it competitive. And even then, when you watch competitive play, it's a bunch of people basically exploiting physics engine glitches to play it. And I'm just like, this is crap. This is a bad game. This is a bad competitive game.
If you have to strip down almost everything that makes the game unique in order to make it competitive, then just play the other game. If you have to strip everything from a first-person shooter to turn it into Counter-Strike, then just play Counter-Strike. I mean, it's what? How much is it on Steam? It's not that much.
Yeah. Well, it's like we always talk about, me and Azzanadra, we play a lot of Blacklight, and there's servers where they take out all the Blacklight features, like, oh, you can only use level 1 guns, and you can't use depot items, and you can't use the hyper reality visor. It's just like, so it's a not as fun version of Counter-Strike?
Pretty much.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's my feel. What are your feels, everyone?
I haven't played Smash in so long. Like, I don't know. Like, I think everyone has that friend who's competitive. Or no, it's not a friend who's competitive. That group that's competitive, and you want to play, and they're like, no items. You can only use 3 stages, and it's, and they're constantly wave dashing, and it's impossible to keep up with them. But I don't know. I just don't care about Smash. Like, yeah.
I'm unfortunately that guy.
Oh, you are?
You are that.
I'm that guy with no items.
Get out.
And...
Just get out.
We'll
I
teach
live
you to
here.
like items. We'll teach you to like items.
It's just, I don't know. Like, it doesn't have to be one or the other, Like, you can have the one-shot kill everything hammer and still have, like, it's still a competitive game with items. It's just not, it's not like an Olympic sport. But to be honest, I don't care. Like,
It's not really meant to be an Olympic sport. That's
Yeah.
the gist of the game, but people still turn it into that. I don't.
I mean, you can master anything, I guess. But
Because nerds are sore losers.
I just don't see why it matters. Because the Wii version wasn't good. Nobody liked it. I mean, I'm sure some people liked it, but it was a pretty big letdown. And I don't know, like, do people play the Wii version competitively like they played the GameCube version?
I couldn't answer that for you.
Oh, okay.
You don't play the Wii version?
I don't have a Wii, so.
Oh.
Do you want a Wii? I have an extra.
Are
I
you serious?
No,
assume
someone
there's
gave
some
me a
kid-
Wii. Like, my uncle gave me a Wii, and because he didn't ever use it, and it's still in the bag he gave it to me in, just because I don't have any reason to play a Wii. I don't know any Wii games. I don't want any Wii games.
You don't have Monster Hunter?
No, I
No
don't.
more
Actually, you know
heroes?
what? I should get Monster Hunter. I should hook it up.
Well, it's the online version for Monster Hunter 3 might be offline by now.
Yeah, I've always heard a lot about Monster Hunter. I've always kind of wanted to try it out, but I've never, I don't know, had the motivation to go do it. It's like, I'll read something about Monster Hunter and be like, man, I should play that. I should go find that. And then 10 minutes later, I'm just like, what?
Nope.
It's completely like just gone.
Well, I doubt you have the time investment to get the first, oh, this game is good moment. Because from what I hear, it's like 10 hours in, and then you finally get that game is good moment, and just why?
I don't know. I've got some patience for, like, I can give a game a little bit of time, but if it's 10 hours, I think that would be okay. But if it's like Final Fantasy 13, where you have to play for like 24 hours or something before you get out of the tutorial stage, just no, that's not happening.
Yeah.
Oh, so speaking of online, did you guys hear about Nintendo still isn't able to get the rights to Wii U.com?
I
Wait,
did
who-
hear that.
Who took WiiU.com then?
It's been owned by someone for a while, and they've been going back and forth. And I thought they had won it, but then apparently this last week something came out where some court like overthrew that, so they've lost it again.
Wow.
And just good job, Nintendo.
The last time I heard about something like that was actually Diablo 3. And,
someone got Diablo3.com.
Yeah, somebody had Diablo3.com, and they finally got around to getting the game, and they couldn't get the IP, so they like threw like tons of money at him, the person who owned it, and they're like, oh yeah, okay. So,
oh yeah, because
because Blizzard has
if I was squatting on that, I'd take the money and run.
So
a whole shitty business of just intentionally registering likely GameTitle.com and wait till someone throws money at you.
Exactly.
Well, the thing is, like, Bethesda, before anyone even knew about another Elder Scrolls game, they registered, like, Skyrim.com. They registered, like, not just Skyrim.com, though. They kept it hidden because they registered a whole bunch of copyrights to all sorts of different province names in the Elder Scrolls universe. So you couldn't tell which one they were buying. So they kind of covered their tracks with that.
Ah, it's clever. I like that.
Like, they registered Elsewhere.com.
By every trademark they could ever possibly use.
Yeah, Square Enix did something like that with Deus Ex recently.
Oh yeah.
They registered a whole, it was like 25 different domain names. Like a couple months back, around, I want to say April. And so there was just a bunch of, speculation, and maybe it's an April Fool's joke. It's like all this stuff was going on with it. But yeah, so Square Enix apparently does that too.
Register Final Fantasy 25 ahead of time just to.
It's an investment.
Because speaking of Deus Ex, there is a Final Fantasy
so
25
going to the
poster
internet.
in that game. There is a Final Fantasy 25 poster in Deus Ex. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I saw that. I thought that was really really fitting that it was in what's that guy's name? The security camera, the IT guy in the building.
Yeah, Pritchard. That's his name.
Pritchard, yeah. Which is funny because I know a guy named Pritchard, and I was just like, this is awkward because he's kind of the same personality as this guy too.
They might have done some research on their generic IT guy.
So let me see, what else we got. Oh, Xbox has a new reputation system that they're rolling out.
Tell me more. I know nothing about this.
Yeah.
So apparently they're having a new a reputation system where you get a rating, and they're gonna have matchmaking based on reputation rating, and so you can vote people up or down depending on you can say you could basically rate them up or down with a reason, and they're gonna, like I said, use that data for matchmaking, which is kind of cool because if that way all the 13-year-old teabagging jerks get their own special hell like away from the rest of us. But I could also see that happening where they could downvote bomb people.
Yeah,
they could just
absolutely.
I'm imagining
who's on the internet who they don't like. Oh, Jim Sterling's something I don't like. We're gonna downvote his Steam his Xbox account. So I don't know. It seems like a good idea because they have to do something about that community because it's pretty vile. I don't even own an Xbox 360, and even if I end up getting an Xbox One, I don't even want to go. Well, I guess you have to be online. No. Well, you don't have to, but.
Well, you have to be online to get the update to be offline.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. I would want to be on Xbox Live because I want to play games like Titanfall and stuff online, but I don't know. It just seems. What? You're
I told you.
Cat or dog just took something down there.
Yeah.
It's Great. All right. But the thing is, there is already a system like that on Xbox Live. The problem is, it doesn't work. There's like a 5-star reputation system, but after playing like 1 or 2 games, like one guy will vote you up for some reason, and it'll just go to 5 stars. And no matter how many people will vote you down after that, you will always be at 5 stars. I'm at like 70% avoided on Xbox Live, and I still have a 5-star reputation, so I don't think it really matters. And I still run into all sorts of people. And even with this new system, it sounds like it would just be so exploitable of just, oh, this guy kicked my ass, downvote. To intentionally try to.
Yeah, see, that's what I would be afraid of, because, I mean, you interact with the internet as much as I do. Yeah.
I imagine just like with the groups I usually roll with on like Call of Duty, it would just turn into matchmaking hell where just nothing would show up because everyone would downvote us because, oh, we won because we used teamwork. What a bunch of bastards.
You used an item in the game I don't like. Downvote.
I mean, I don't know. Like, you can design a pretty smart system, you know, like, it may need a couple of matches like that, or it may require, like, a real plurality of players, you know, so just like one team can't do it. But it seems weird, the idea of taking people who are badly behaved and putting them all together, you know, because I think a lot of the reason people like freak out over the mic and stuff is because they're pissed off. I know when I find myself yelling at people over a video game, it's because I'm pissed. And man, like, you put them in a game full of people that everyone hates, including them, it's just like, it's going to be this terrible little nuclear hate ball. I don't know.
Well, I doubt you're just throwing out, racial slurs and homophobic slurs left and right there as a thing.
Well, it doesn't
That's the
matter.
difference.
If you're screaming in top of your lungs, and it's like it doesn't really matter what you're saying. You know, you're going to get reported.
I think there's a difference between calling someone gay or dropping an N-bomb or threatening to rip their heart out with a knife. That's probably different, in my opinion.
No.
Not to mention the hundreds of, your mom. Like, I was with your mom.
I just had a flashback to some British kid just saying, your mum, your mum, your mum, your mum, your mum, your mum, over and over again.
I get the feeling it's going to be more of a carrot and stick type thing. Where maybe you'll probably get faster queue times if you're well behaved. Or at least they want to create that appearance. I know Dota does some kind of reputation stuff, but...
Yeah, doesn't League or Dota have a system kind of like that?
Dota has a system where if you're badly behaved, pretty much what happens is you get muted for a day, and it sucks. I haven't been muted, and I'm not sure if being the guy that everyone likes does anything good for you, but I'm sure that eventually they'll do something with that. And League, they pretty much base their bans on getting reported, so that's. Yeah, they're both just like kick you out for being bad type systems. League being a bit harsher, but they also both have problems. Like League people do get banned for really the wrong reasons. Someone can be perfectly polite and even good at the game and get downvoted for not following community norms. So. I don't know.
Didn't a Dota player get banned recently for throwing a game for money?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't follow it too closely. I know a lot of pro Dota players are muted from reports. I'm not sure how many of them deserve it, but I'm sure a lot of them do. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if some team cheated or something. It happens. There's real money at play.
I assume Valve knows what they're doing, though, as far as Dota 2 is concerned, though.
Most people don't like the reputation system. Well, they don't like the stick end of the reputation system.
Who does?
Yeah.
So, anyways, so we talked about region locks a minute ago. What do you guys think about Australia and their new rating system and refusing entry for certain games like Saints Row the Fourth?
I think it's paternalistic crap.
Australia,
Screw
come on.
Australia. Yeah, I don't.
Like, you had some good ideas,
They don't.
but
It's a
what do you-
censor board. I don't support that at all.
you're just funding a huge illegal market of game importation. Good job. Especially with region-free, like on the PS4 and the Bone.
Yeah, I really
Oh.
don't see why they're even trying now. Like it, I guess. I just don't. I don't understand. Why does Australia have these kind of? Like I understood before where they had their rating system and they had this one judge on their Supreme Court who literally was filibustering, for lack of a better term, allowing mature games into the country. But now that guy's gone. I think he's gone. But they're still doing it. But it's like Australia, of all places. Australia, why you censor games?
I don't see why Australia wouldn't be. I mean, you gotta figure it's a pretty small community, so it's more likely for them to agree on community measures. It's not like it's not as all right. It's as big as the United States, but it can't be nearly as populated.
Well, yeah, like
Um,
90% of the continent is uninhabitable.
Yeah, like I don't think they have to deal with the same diversity issues that a more major country has to. Although I don't know, actually. I should probably read up on Australia before I start talking crap about it. All I know is they are notorious at censoring games. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just my mental picture of Australia is sort of like the Wild West of the U.S. Sort of, because it's how they're portrayed in media and in movies and books and TV as this, untamed land of, I don't know, adventure and all kinds of crazy stuff. And then it's like, no, you can't have that. It could hurt you. Like, really? That doesn't make... It breaks my mental picture of Australia.
Different states have different things they consider unacceptable. Like I think Germany's always been big on replacing shooting people with shooting robots. And I'm sure even Japan has their hang-ups, although Lord knows what they are.
Let's not talk about Japan and their hang-ups. That's going down a dark road.
That's
Dark road.
But fortunately, due to I don't know, due to strange pricing, seems like Australian gamers should be no stranger to importing, so they should be able to get around most of this stuff.
All right. Well, that just about does it for the news. Unless you guys have any news stories that you would like to bring out and talk about.
No,
How do you
nothing.
feel about the Ouya?
Ouya? Did you get an Ouya?
I did not.
Did anybody
But,
get a new
I
yes?
know,
So I
I
can
would-
laugh
I
in your
didn't get
face.
an Ouya.
I'm glad it crashed and burned. Because I saw it coming a mile away.
Did it crash and burn? I heard it was actually selling pretty well.
I mean, well, I heard that. I've heard 90% of what I've heard is disappointment, and the other 10% is, well, what were you expecting? I don't know. Like the guys running that Kickstarter were, I feel, a little disingenuous about the Ouya's capabilities. And I really feel like that kind of powered the Ouya's pre-orders. So it's nice to see people, I don't know, getting it and realizing, oh, it's an emulator.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I've
Basically.
seen...
Like, that's kind of what I felt it was. I was torn. Because I didn't like the games lineup that they had. Like, no one was developing anything for it specifically. But I was hoping that maybe it would encourage more developers to develop serious games on Android. Because they could be like, oh, yeah, we're developing it for the Ouya and for the phone and for all this other stuff. But I was like, it felt like a long shot. I wanted it to succeed, but I don't think it's. I don't think it's going to.
It's a hard thing to talk about though, because like a lot of I don't know, like a lot of people like if you knew what it was, you probably didn't get it, you know, because it's not much. Like it's something, and it's kind of interesting, but it's not really its own gaming console, so no one has one.
Sorry, I'm like semi-distracted here.
Nah, you're cool, bro.
I look over and like more of your curtains are missing. I can't wait to go back and watch this. And just like watch for the parts where your cat just destroys your apartment.
There's, they're
Yeah.
fighting for a while in the back.
Your cat has now officially become part of this podcast.
Starring
Oh,
Cat E.
Yeah.
I need
Yeah.
to, right in the center. I need to put another little robot master for your cat. Just it
We'll
like
take- we'll
clawing
take a-
down your curtains.
I'll take a picture real quick.
All right. So, what have you guys been doing this week? What have you been up to? Question?
Well, I found a new Flash game that's pretty cool. It's based on Attack on Titan, and it's, you know, I mean, it's an amateur Flash game. It doesn't control very well. It's very rough. It seems like somebody's like personal fun project more than a game. But man, it's fun. Because if you know anything about, like, do you guys watch any anime? Do you know what Attack on Titan is?
I've seen of it. I got some friends who are just like always like, "Oh, let's watch the next episode, guys!" Woo!
Yeah, it's
And-
I'm
it's
that
pretty
guy.
popular. Yeah, it's pretty
I'm
popular.
that guy.
But basically, it's about these guys who have Spider-Man like control things. I mean, it's about people and drama and stuff. But the part the game cares about is about these guys with Spider-Man like hook shots coming out of their waist, flying around cities, grabbing on buildings, and they're fighting these giant colossi. And to kill one, you just jump on its neck and like chop it. And so basically, this little Flash game is the best dang Spider-Man game I think anyone's ever made. It is so fun to just go careening through the city, and when you actually, because it's hard, you got a little spot you have to hit. When you actually get one, it's pretty satisfying. But it's not much of a game. It's probably too difficult. I know that sounds weenusy to hear, but I saw this YouTube video of this guy. And he was just kicking butt. Like he became one with the controls, Like I'm sure this guy, if you gave him a real life control suit with super elastic bands, and he could probably do it because he was just flying through the city, killing these incredibly hard giants like it was nothing. And man, once you realize that's possible, like that got the fire under me. So now I'm trying with my little Flash game. But I don't know, it's fun if you enjoy being bad at something and becoming better. It's that kind of game, and I really appreciate it. So you guys should definitely try it out at some point, just to experience it. And you might want to watch the anime too. I don't know. It seems like everyone who enjoys anime in any capacity enjoys it.
Yeah, it's definitely a good watch. I would recommend it.
But yeah, I'm surprised the game hasn't gotten bigger. To be honest,
I played it. It's pretty low budget.
Yeah, I mean, it's one guy, and it's his personal project, but
I think if we got some good, like someone to do some texture work for him.
oh, well, he has a separate guy doing the art.
Oh, well, if you got a better separate guy doing the art.
Changes everything.
Because seriously, like the way it's colored, like the floor is one, like it's not even a texture. It's just
It's a
color.
gradient.
It's just gray, and the buildings are just brown, with no texture, just a straight brown. And I'm like, if you just fix those two things, that would improve the quality of this game tenfold.
I don't know. The game has to get on Reddit. We need to get it big like the Winnie the Pooh batting game was or something. Just give it a little fame. It doesn't need a lot. Oh, you guys probably didn't play that either, did you?
I heard about the phenomena. I did not partake.
I tell you, man, if you Oh. That there are some crappy little Flash games out there that are just surprisingly great from a, I don't know, gaming perspective. You know, like they present a good objective challenge that's seriously intimidating and seriously rewarding to overcome. And Attack on Titan's one of them.
Yeah,
So that's pretty much my news.
the last challenging Flash game I played was QWOP, and that was a while ago.
That's different.
QWOP is QWOP, though. Can you really master QWOP, or does QWOP master you?
Oh, no, I hear some people that can actually do it.
Let me see. Moy, do you have any? What have you been up to this week?
Well, I started out with Knights of Pen and Paper, Deluxe Edition.
Knights of Pen and Paper?
Yeah, it's essentially you are playing a party of D&D players who are playing D&D. You're basically controlling the party. It's a little. The only reason I stopped playing it is it got really repetitive. The story really wasn't much of a story. So that was the thing.
Oh.
But the majority of my time, I was using. Not using. I was playing the. You ever hear the X series? Essentially, it's
I tried playing it. I couldn't get into it. It's too much.
Have you guys heard of the X series before?
Oh, I
I've
have.
heard of it,
No,
yes.
I haven't.
Yeah. Essentially, it's Eve. Single player.
Eve. Yeah.
If I were to just describe it really quick, it's long, painstaking. You have to basically build your own corporation, and so yeah, I'm like 300 hours into the game.
Oh.
What?
So it wasn't too much for you. It's single player Eve. I mean.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
The new one is actually an alpha, X3 Rebirth, and so I'm trying to get through the series. It's X3, Terran Conflict, and then the expansion, which is Albion Prelude. So I have about like 800 hours of gameplay to like.
Good
grind
luck,
through.
man.
All right.
Squeeze.
And lastly, yesterday I took the day off, and I played Final Fantasy beta all day.
Nerd.
Oh yeah. No, we're gonna talk about
please.
Final Fantasy at some point, right?
Yeah.
I just kind of
Please.
assumed that Final Fantasy and Rogue Legacy were on the table. But yeah, it's pretty.
Actually,
it's nice.
It is really nice.
Like,
But yeah,
it feels good. It feels right. This game could work.
the
It's an
only
MMO
reason
that might work.
the only reason I'm
That's
here
like-
because instead of playing right now is because they're gonna wipe my character. So.
It's same thing.
Yeah,
I actually got
I've been-
stuff done this weekend.
Yeah, I'm really waiting for Phase 4 to start so that it'll actually save progress. Right now, I've just
Yeah.
been kind of dinking around, just blowing all my money, teleporting everywhere I can.
That's probably the way to do it. Get some experience. What the hell's going on with this game?
Pretty much, yeah. Just
Yeah.
running around, looking at stuff, poking monsters I have no business poking. It's been fun. I killed an Illithid using Omnislash, by the way. Kind of just won the game.
So
Is that like a 360 no scope or something?
Yeah,
Like
actually, it
what?
looks pretty good. No, it's
What's
the
my
same as-
360 no scope?
Did you play Final Fantasy 7 or I think every Final Fantasy after 7 has limit breaks, right? Like, did you play that? Have you
Nope.
played any Final Fantasies in the last 10 years?
No, I haven't played a single Final Fantasy.
We don't need to have this conversation. There's no ground to stand on.
I do know what limit breaks are, though. So yeah,
Oh.
basically you charged up a meter and you did a thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, that's been a lot of fun. So Azzanadra, what have you been up to this week?
This week, well, mostly been celebrating my newfound freedom from the summer semester by trying to tackle EVE Online. I haven't been able to do much. I've gotten blown up about 5 or 6 times by other players, stupid Reddit. And basically, for the most part, aside from that, not much has happened, aside from apparently on July 4th, there was a massive battle going down in the war between Goon Swarm and Test Alliance. And at some point, I guess CCP, the developers, tried to reinforce that particular server that represents that system where that battle was going on. And instead of reinforcing it, they accidentally pulled the plug on the whole battle thing going on.
Wow.
Accidentally.
Yeah, accidentally. So while basically the fight was about to go into basically full-on slaughter for against the Test Alliance, then suddenly the plug was pulled, and so at that point, basically, they could just sit there offline at that point and just wait till the system was clear for all their capital ships that were at that point basically boned. So
How's that going?
yeah,
anyway?
basically, Goonswarm got blue balled right there.
Is one side or the other like winning? Like, from what I
Right.
understand, EVE wars, like no one wins. Someone just starves eventually. So
That's probably it. Like right now, the Goonswarm Federation is part of. Well, CFC is going into basically test territory and burning everything before the test has to go back in and rebuild everything. So right now, it looks like Reddit is getting choked right now. They're the ones starving right now. So unfortunately, I don't know much about that because, like I said, it takes about a good while of just real life skill training time before you can actually be a part of the front lines. In that regard, because I looked at some of the times required to train some of like the big ships, and you got to spend at least 190 days just being active, not like playing, just having an account.
Well, I mean, that's I don't know. It seems like a good idea. I mean, aren't those ships worth a lot of like real life money?
Yeah, like typically, there is a like real life money to in-game money kind of conversion, but there's no actual encouraged real world trading except for pilot license extensions, which are about 500 million ISK in the game. And yeah, a lot of ships are typically worth quite a number of billion or so, so they cost definitely quite a bit of real money if you were to just buy a bunch of Plex and then trade it in game. Like I said, I don't really have much in the way to say about what's going on. I've mostly just been mining and reading a book at the same time while I wait for my skills to train up. So right now, it's not much going on.
So you went from your science school, staring at spreadsheets and playing with beakers, to reading a book and staring at spreadsheets at home.
Yeah, well, at least I get to see nice little graphics of mining ships shooting lasers at big rocks in space. That's
Yeah.
improvement.
Ooh.
But because there actually is another game similar to that I've been playing a bit, not in this like past week or so, but if you ever heard of Evertron Mercenary, it is on Steam. It's basically like a flight sim in space with Eve-like mechanics. You don't build a corporation, but you do build up your reputation and get to have a squadron of other NPC pilots to roll with you and just mess shit up.
no, man, I'm loving this. I'm picking up all new kinds of games now.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
No,
Like,
I've never
yeah.
heard of this.
Isn't that copyrighted?
Evercron Mercenary?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, the
I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, I've enjoyed it because it's basically like flies like a flight sim, but you pews a lot.
Definitely. X3 has that same type of option. You can fly the big ships, or you can get in a fighter and you can go in a dogfight. And the AI is pretty relentless. But I still can't get over the fact that there's still missiles in space.
Well, yeah.
What's wrong with missiles in space?
I don't know. I can't like what's using the propulsion what's it using
The,
as
the
far
fuel
as
side of it.
Yeah, ships.
Yeah.
Real ships have propulsion in space. What? Why
Liquid.
wouldn't
Let me
a
tell you
missile?
about liquid oxygen and hydrogen.
So, Mr. Science School, tell us how propulsion in space works.
Basically, an explosion happens, and then the the gases go one way out into the space, and the other ship goes the other way. It's Newton's third law. There, I
I
explained
feel
it.
more educated
Yeah.
and scienced.
So rockets work in
We-
space.
Yeah,
we learned-
rockets work in space actually way better because there's less air resistance to worry about.
Okay.
Yeah, so this week I've been playing pretty much. Yesterday I played some Final Fantasy XIV, and the rest of the week I actually haven't been playing very many games. I've been kind of on a gaming hiatus. I have been playing some Blacklight Retribution, but that's pretty
That's
much
usual.
just that's
You-
like
you always
going to the
play that.
bathroom for me.
That's a
I
given,
just do it
yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, it's
That's like me
Brain
talking
Brain.
about Dota. You know, it's like
Yeah, it's like Call of Duty.
game's old.
Cares?
Everyone knows it. Everyone already knows whether it's good or
Everybody
bad.
knows I'm terrible at sniping, so
Although it's been really fun this week because they had a flash sale for the 4th of July where all the explosives were like 50% off, I think. So I went out and I permed everything that you could throw that exploded.
That's so good.
And I'm
yes,
just running
it's
around
on top.
literally every time I spawn and I just turn into a grenade sprinkler. I just spin in circles and hurl grenades for like 3 minutes. It's amazing. The first round I had all my explosives. I went, what did I posted a picture of it. It was 28-3 because it was King of the Hill. And so it's just like, oh look, the entire team's over there. Have 4 grenades. Ha. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nothing else I've been really playing though, except for Final Fantasy XIV, which by the way is really awesome. I'm really shocked. Like, do you guys remember 1.0, like the original Final Fantasy XIV?
I had the collector's edition. I was
Yeah.
pretty pissed about it. So.
I'm using the collector's edition. Gave you a buddy code, and I'm someone's buddy. Yeah, it was so bad. Oh my god. Like, I don't know what happened. Like, I'm surprised it got so much better over the course of what's been like a year.
2 years.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. That's actually
Oh,
a pretty
never
big
mind.
amount of time.
Well,
Yeah, it
almost
was
2 years. It'll be 2 years in October.
it was just a bad game. It was like it was plagued with the worst lag issues I've ever seen in any MMO. And that's, like actually the worst, which is saying a lot,
Ultima Online had less issues with lag using dial-up than Final Fantasy XIV 1.0.
Like, and it's not like Square Enix is some, little indie game maker or something. This was a major release to a very successful MMO. It was a pile of crap. But the new one's actually pretty good looking. I feel like it's good enough that Final Fantasy XI people can actually move over. And if they get that to happen in any capacity, then the game's pretty much going to be a success, because there are many successful MMOs out there. I think 11 was one of them.
Yeah, 11 had a pretty good chunk of market share. Lineage had a pretty good chunk of market share.
Yeah. What's that?
The rest of it was pretty much WoW, but I mean, of the not WoW chunk, I think Final Fantasy and Lineage were pretty close to tied as far as having the remaining amount of market share.
Well, it's not so much market share. It's usually when you look at like an MMO's population, it does this, But if you look at like Final Fantasies, it pretty much does this. And there's a couple other successful MMOs, I think. I think Second Life may be biting the bullet finally. I have no idea. I haven't kept up on them, but it has a
Oh, really?
pretty loyal following, for the most part. EVE Online's a traditionally very successful MMO.
I'm so stupid. You're right.
they're
I'm
always-
sorry. Out of the
they're
market
always-
share, EVE Online has a huge chunk of that market share.
Yeah.
For some
They
reason,
do have a massive supercomputer to power their single shard server. So they
Yeah, sorry,
though they know they have a small like community, but they definitely intend
It's
it to be a
a
small
very
community.
loyal community, though.
Yeah.
So yeah, like there's successful MMOs. That's the main thing I worry about Final Fantasy 14 though, because usually when I think of a successful MMO, I think of things that are pretty radically different from World of Warcraft. Like Second Life, EVE Online, and Final Fantasy 11 all have pretty much nothing to do with World of Warcraft. And it seems like a necessary ingredient. But Final Fantasy 14 kind of has that WoW feel. You know, like you're hitting skills on cooldown, and you're managing mana the same way, and fights are about the same difficulty, and you can solo and quest work the same way. So I don't know. It might not work, even though it's very polished and nice. Like Rift was polished and nice, and
I think Rift had the problem of being too much like WoW. Not just mechanic-wise, but just everything from the art assets down through the mechanics. You know, I think a game can, you know, like Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 2 is doing pretty well, and it's mechanically very similar to WoW, but it has a completely different feel aesthetically. The world and everything, it feels unique. You know,
Yeah.
it feels like a different experience. Playing Rift felt like playing WoW 2.0, and it
Guild
wasn't
Wars
like
does-
as
Yeah.
interesting.
Guild Wars is not mechanically similar to WoW, dude. It really isn't.
How
That's
so?
been my beef with MMOs.
I mean, for starters,
It's a hotbar, enmity based. Well, it's not enmity based.
it's not enmity
It's
based.
not. I take that back. Okay, it's not
There's
enmity
no
based.
tanks. There is a healer, but healers aren't important. Like, it's so different.
Yeah, but then again, I hear its missteps are the fact that fights become
PvE.
just a giant mess because there is no enmity system. So it's WoW and take out the enmity system.
The PvE has no balance, but the issues are, I don't know, they're pretty sophisticated and involves knowing how like Guild Wars works. Like pretty much the only role. It's got PvE balance issues, but PvP is pretty much perfect. So I don't know. It doesn't seem very WoW-like to me. Guild Wars 1 certainly wasn't. Good lord. Well, anyways, that's
Final Fantasy 14.
that's Eve.
Yeah, I don't know. Have Azzanadra, you haven't played it at all?
Play what? 14?
Final
No.
Fantasy 14.
No,
Yeah.
the only other MMO I have ever really played was Neverwinter, and that was just kind of a disappointment because it basically was like a WoW clone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I got to do a video
Like
review
that.
of that now that I have my equipment. Now I have a
Yeah.
camera and stuff because that game deserves a thrashing.
You love it.
I did
Oh.
for the first like couple of weeks, and then
Then the grind set in.
yeah. Well, the problem is, and I don't want to give too much away, but it just turned into a repetitive mess. Like all the fights. None of the bosses had unique mechanics. They were all literally put a cone of red on the ground, move away from the cone, and then wash, rinse, repeat. And then kill the ads. And it got really boring really fast. Even though the mechanics of the game are really solid. Like, they're really solid. Like, fighting that game feels fun. But, those boss fights in those dungeons were so boring.
Yeah, there was definitely a kind of weird difficulty curve going on. Like the first few were all right. You definitely could just go through them with some random folks, and you could all have some good fun. And then suddenly, it just kind of throws in 50 enemies in front of you all of a sudden, and the game suddenly expects you to be in a like coordinated team in like your level like your level 30s. Like that's the kind of stuff normally you would expect for end game stuff. Basically acted like everyone was prepared for an end game dungeon at level middle of the game, middle of the leveling curve, and it just kind of kills any enthusiasm for most folks to try and use it.
Yeah, there was also an incident that happened between me and their customer service that finally put the nail in the coffin, where I just
Oh, yeah.
stopped playing it altogether. Like I probably would have played it more. I think I put about 50 hours into it, maybe 40 hours into it, enough to get a really good feel for it. And I would have just kind of kept playing it, doing some crafting and getting on every once in a while. But yeah, there was something happened between me and customer service that just was like, nope, I'm out. Spoiler, it's PWE.
EWE.
Perfect World Entertainment.
Oh, okay. What else did they do? Perfect World.
Insert
Perfect
shitty.
World.
Yeah, Perfect World.
Insert
did
shitty free to play MMO here is basically what they've all done, and then
Okay.
Yeah, they're an MMO. They're a free to play game farm, more or less. Aren't they Korean?
Yes.
It's a Korean company. Yeah.
how the hell do they get whatever?
So, yeah, that's what I've been doing this week. I don't really have much. I feel bad that I haven't been playing. Oh, I know. I beat Dust and Elysian Tale. I beat that on hard difficulty.
God, I feel like I should play that game because it's.
Yeah, so do I.
I really like Odin Sphere, and Dust. It's so beautiful, and it just looks like jump around, beat 'em up type. Like it looks a lot like Odin Sphere. Does it have a story that's like interesting in any way, or is it?
It's pretty tropey, but it's enjoyable.
You can have a good tropey story. Like I
Well-
don't mind that, but is it like? Do you get into it? Like you care.
You care. You care enough to want to get through the story. Like I kept coming back for more because the gameplay was fun and I wanted to know what happened next.
I don't know.
Even though I had a pretty good idea where the story was going because it's very predictable, but it was still fun. It was still like, oh, I want to see what happens and I want to do it. It was good. It was just enough story to be good.
I feel like this seems like a game that deserves to be played. I just don't know if I have the time. Wow.
I think it's only like 10 hours. It's pretty short if you just go straight through it. It has a lot of side quests and things that I just had no interest in doing at all because I actually wanted. I'll take that back. It actually is a pretty good story because I was ignoring side quests just so I could do the main story quests.
Mm-hmm. No.
Well, it depends on how interesting the side story stuff is.
So is it still good after beating it? Do you still think it's great? Would recommend?
Oh yeah, I definitely recommend it. Like if you want a fun side scroll beat 'em up game that has some
Beautiful art. It's so
yeah,
good
it's so
looking.
pretty. It's a very pretty game. Like it's like $10 on Steam. Just go get it. There's no reason not to.
I just checked. It's 15.
It's $15 on Steam. There's no reason not to buy it.
It's $15 on Steam and probably XBLA.
What?
It's also $15 there. Probably is.
Wasn't it developed by like one person as well?
Yes, it was developed by one person over a very long time, which probably explains how great the animation is in the actual game.
Yeah, when I watched the credits, there's a lot of people who worked on it, I guess, for the release, but it seemed like a lot of them were Xbox employees for the publishing studio.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was the majority of it is all done by a single guy, and then some voice actors. But yeah,
That's fun.
I'm gonna do a let's play of it eventually on the highest difficulty because I beat it on the second to highest difficulty, and it was pretty. It felt actually kind of. It was hard at first, and then once you start kind of rolling because it's got RPG elements where you level up and get stronger. And I fully optimized for a couple of things, and it got kind of easy toward the end. So I want to go back and beat it on the hardest difficulty, which pretty much feels like a little bit easier Dante Must Die mode. Because I played the first level and I got two-shot by like a little like goblin in the first scene. And I was like, oh, this is serious business.
The real dust begins here.
We can't. No. Oh, did you guys hear about Ranger mode for Metro Last Light?
Oh, it's DLC. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you don't have a HUD. There's no UI.
Yeah.
That's
You have to
interesting.
pay for that?
I kind of want to play that.
Well, I mean, I'd say you probably want to play the game first, and then after you beat the game, decide if you want to try it in immersive mode.
Well, it's just so weird. I kind of want to play it in Ranger mode just straight off, just to have that be my experience with the game. But I do not want to buy the game and the DLC. That just seems too much. Like DLC to take the HUD out.
I assume that.
Yeah, that's something like, why would you pay for?
Apparently, the original publisher made that decision, and then when that publisher, I forget who the original publisher was, but something had happened where they went out of business and sold off the rights. Another company picked it up and then published the game. But by that point, everything had already been, developed out.
I don't know. I've got thoughts, but it's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of old news. Like, no one really cares about that anymore.
Yeah.
It's, you know what I mean? Like.
Oh yeah, no, I get it. I just kind of brought it up because it just sort of reminded me of, I don't know. It's just such a weird design choice, to have that Ranger mode. It sounds a lot more fun than the 1999 mode in BioShock Infinite.
Or where they actually make the game losable.
Yeah, but I don't know. I didn't like 1999 mode. I didn't think it was very interesting.
Well, you got fair. This kind of stuff's designed for people who really like the game,
Yeah.
There's people who are playing The Last of Us on Survivor difficulty for the second time, If there was some way for them to change the gameplay, make it even harder without, the normal things they do to up difficulty, I'm sure they would be all over it and would, it would be worth their money,
Did you pick up The Last of Us? Question?
No, I'm just gonna borrow it from a buddy.
You should
Probably.
get it, and you should do. We should record you playing it. I think that'd be fun.
I don't know. It's a movie game. To be honest, I'm worried that I'm gonna play this game because it's getting pretty much perfect 10 out of 10s everywhere, and everyone says it's changing gaming. And I am super skeptical about that because a friend showed it to me and he was really excited about it. But I look at it and it just looks like a story. It looks like a story game, and I guess I can like those. Maybe, I don't know. I'll have to play it to find out. But I'm worried I'm just not going to enjoy it. So I'm going to be this curmudgeon hating the game that everyone loves. Everyone's going to think I hate it just for the sake of hating it when I just.
It seems like a more brutal Metal Gear Solid game to me, with zombies.
I didn't play Metal Gear Solid games, so I don't know.
What?
Nope, didn't play them.
I didn't play them either.
Even
No,
I played the HD collection that was released on 360. Come on.
Maybe I will. Who knows?
I will have to dig out my copy of Metal Gear Solid, the original one, on PlayStation and let you play it. It's really good. It's one of my favorite games of all time.
Okay, but I bet the original Metal Gear Solid actually had. Well, I'll have to play The Last of Us before I say anything about it. I'm not going to do a Let's Play of it or anything though, because.
And by the way, I don't think
No one wants that.
looks like an original Metal Gear Solid. It looks more like Metal Gear Solid 3 or Metal Gear Solid
4, maybe even 5. Who knows? 5's not out yet, but
Did they have
we're
the
apparently excited about it.
I
they
don't
have
know
the
how I
Mayday mark?
feel. I don't know how I feel about. I don't. Yeah, I have no idea how I feel about the new Metal Gear. It just seems like it looks kind of cool. The video footage they showed at E3 looks like it could be a lot of fun. Kind of return to form, because I felt like they were just kind of going off on a different path.
When you say going off on a different path, are you referring to Metal Gear 4 or Metal Gear Rising?
No, not Metal Gear 4.
Okay, so you don't count Rising.
Yeah, every game after Metal Gear Solid, it felt like they were moving further and further away from the things I liked about the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, if they make it like an open world version of the first one, I'll be very happy.
All right. So, what's next?
Well, since we're talking about games coming up, let's talk about releases. All right, we're done talking about releases.
I want
All
to
right,
talk
good
about
talk.
Dragon's
All right,
Crown.
yeah.
There is
Oh.
absolutely nothing of any notoriety coming out this next week. So,
Okay, maybe not next week. but-
anyone have anything like projected in the distance they want to talk about?
I just keep falling more and more in love with Dragon's Crown. Every time they put out a piece of art, I'm like, oh, I wasn't even planning on buying it. I just like love the art, but now it just keeps looking better and better. I mean, I also want to get Rome, but Rome's kind of like everyone knows exactly what Rome is. Like either you're going to buy it or you're not going to buy it.
Total War?
Except for you, Azzandra. You probably wouldn't normally buy it, but you should really get into Total War. Yeah, it's just what is the release date for it? Dragon's Crown release day is August 6th. Oh, it's coming. I'm gonna be all over it. I'm gonna buy 3 more PS3 controllers. I'll have a nerd party at my house.
I'm there.
I'll make you like it.
No, I'm sure I will like it. I'm sure it will be fun.
Well, I'll go wizard. Like the screen's just gonna be like constant red particle effects. As fireballs and meteors drop on the Earth. It'll be great.
Sounds
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh God, I played Odin Sphere. I pretty much immediately fell in love with Vanillaware. I want to try one of their other games now, but that would mean getting a Vita, which I might end up doing. Cause man, yeah, I might. So that's what I'm excited about, and it's going to come in.
Are you getting a PS4?
I probably will. PS3's treated me real well. My only issue is, I don't know if I need one. Like,
If you're
I
gonna
have
get
a
a
PS3,
PS4, if you're gonna get a PS4, go ahead and get a Vita
yeah,
because they have all the streaming features and things where you can play like games on your Vita. Like, and they'll probably add other cool interaction stuff for the Vita to the PlayStation 4. So it wouldn't be a bad idea to go and pick one up.
it's just the Vita's powerful. Like handhelds in general are so powerful nowadays. Like you can play games on handhelds that, like when I think of handheld, I think of Game Boy, where you kind of like, I mean, they are their own games, but they felt so limited, But now limited means like it feels like a game from 5 years ago, which is just fine. Like those are the kinds of RPGs I like. I love 3DS RPGs. It feels like I'm playing a Super Nintendo again, in terms of like style and the way they structure the game. So, yeah, I don't know. Like maybe I should try out this handheld thing. I haven't had one since the Game Boy.
It's funny. I still have an original Game Boy, and I bust it out every once in a while.
Yeah.
A big
What do
old
you play on?
giant brick.
Besides, I got a. Sony is so evil smart. Like now, I got a PlayStation Plus subscription, so now I technically own a lot of Vita games.
Yeah, technically.
Like, clever.
They're just doing this like yes.
I really should have done that, but
Shouldn't have done what?
I really should have gotten a PS Plus subscription when they started doing that stuff, but I didn't because I already had Xbox Live Gold, and why am I even paying for that? I already canceled it.
I'm not too worried about it. Like, there's some games I miss. Like, it would be nice to own another copy of Demon's Souls for free, but downloaded games are so much more convenient than physical games, unless I want to share it. But I'd have to share with someone with a PS3, and no one has a PS3 with me.
Yeah, I
Besides,
just skipped out on this whole generation of consoles. I didn't get an Xbox 360. Didn't get a PS3. I kept going to the store and wanting to buy one, and all these games are on PC that I care about, and I have a really nice PC. So,
But here's the thing about the PS Plus free games. Most of these free games I don't really give a crap about. Like it's nice having a big library of crappy indie games that you can pick from if you're just feeling bored, Like if I'm just sitting around my house bored with like a buddy, I'd be like, you want to play Little Big Planet Racing? It's like, sure, and I have it, even though why would I have that? But most of these games I don't give a crap about, and the ones I do give a crap about, not that expensive. Like I can buy Demon Souls. It's not a big deal to me. You know, I can buy Metal Gear Solid 4 if that ever came on. I have no idea.
Do you have did you ever beat Demon Souls?
Yes, I didn't beat Dark Souls, but that's because Dark Souls and me have issues with each other.
What are your issues with Dark Soul?
It's complicated. I'd have to go into it.
Is it
I
the
should-
like
like
open Metroidvania layout?
Yeah, that's okay. Here's the problem with Dark Souls. It is that. It's exactly that. Because the problem is in Dark Souls, I feel like you kind of have to understand Demon Souls. You know, because in Demon Souls, you play a level and you get stuck. And, you know, the natural thing to do, like you pretty much have two choices. You either, keep working at it, or you go do a different area. And both are totally valid choices. You know, what do you play Dark Souls? Like, are you familiar with either of the games, Azzandra?
Yes, I've beaten it at least once.
Okay. In Dark Souls, though, I go to a place and I get stuck, and then I either am supposed to be there, or I'm supposed to be somewhere else. Like, there isn't really a choice. It's actually kind of a linear game. Like, you're kind of supposed to do this, then this, then this, then this. But they don't convey to you really what you're supposed to do. So I just ended up spinning my wheels doing the wrong things a lot. I think after doing Upper Berg, the next thing I did was kill Great Wolf Sif. And then I had no idea where I was supposed to go, so I went down and I started killing dragons. And then I found out about Lower Berg, and it was no fun at all because I was like way too powerful for this area with my giant flaming halberd, and it was just like the fun has disappeared. This isn't great. So I feel like due to the open world, I feel like you almost need to kind of follow a wiki a little to know what you're doing. Whereas Dark Souls, like there was legitimately no path. So now and every time I get stuck in Dark Souls, I feel a little like paranoid, like, okay, am I supposed to keep doing this or am I supposed to give up on this and go somewhere else? Because there's a right answer.
Draw a path.
Say what?
I can easily draw a path. I mean, for the most part,
Yeah.
there's only
You
really
beat
a
the game,
path.
though.
There's only really a path to follow for like the first half of the game, and then after
Yeah.
that, it basically just becomes a boss rush, and that's kind of where the game goes downhill.
Oh, okay. Well,
Well, the DLC kind of fixes that, but you'd have to pay extra if you had the Xbox version of that, which you
Oh.
should, because that's where the community is. Well, or that or the PS3 version. I never got a PS3, and I kind of kick myself about that a lot, because there's a lot of exclusives for the PS3 that aren't on PC or 360, and there's no Xbox exclusives that I give a shit about. So,
yep. So anyways,
But Halo.
me and Dark
You don't
Souls
want
have a little beef.
Halo?
no. I got
Sports.
tired
You like
of Halo with
sports,
Halo
though, right?
3.
Please tell me you like sports.
What, Halo Sports? I've never heard of that.
Is that a thing?
I
What
hope
about
so.
what about hey, what about TV? Come on.
TV.
Work with me here.
You're
That's
talking about the Xbox, the X-Bone thing.
Well,
You know,
it's the general
just the
Xbox community.
Yeah, it's just the Xbox
180.
Focus in general. Yeah, and the 180, Bone 180, whichever you're choosing. But it just is the general Focus, because like there's all these tabs and stuff on like just the dashboard of like, oh, listen to like I don't know Jay-Z's new album. Like I don't give a shit about who this guy is. I just want to play some shoot mans on my Call of Duty or something.
Seriously? That's what owning an Xbox is like?
Yeah,
Jeez, I'm sorry, guys.
it's so much like oh
The
you can watch
KultCast
this
crew
TV show.
offers our condolences to the Xbox 360 owners.
Well, at first it was pretty damn nice. At first, but then they just kind of started filling it with crap ads and like stuff that is not games and like.
But dude, you can give your meeple person a Halo helm.
Well, that's fine. That's fine because you can. They really should have pursued putting your avatar in smaller Xbox Live Arcade games a bit. They could have done that, but I don't know. I kind of like having my guy dressed up in an Adam Jensen jacket with some spare Microsoft points, which was a stupid system. I'm glad they got rid of that.
Everyone on the Final Fantasy 14 thread agrees. We need to be able to put cat girls in Adam Jensen outfits. That has to happen.
Always.
Square, make it happen.
I don't suppose any of you guys played Rogue Legacy.
I
No?
haven't. No.
Oh,
I have.
never mind.
I've
Oh,
heard
you
a couple
have?
people
Yeah.
mention it to me.
Yeah.
Why don't Why don't you tell our viewing audience about Rogue Legacy?
Rogue Legacy seems to be this little indie game, and it's Rogue Legacy because it's supposed to be a roguelike. You go through a procedural dungeon. Unlike Rogue, it's not a top-down RPG. You actually, it's an action game. But like Rogue, you pretty much proceed through a procedurally generated dungeon, and the legacy part comes from the fact that whenever you die, you play through a new procedural dungeon, which is similar but not exactly the same as one of your previous character's descendants. And it's pretty much just a randomly generated character who gets all the money you had when you died. And so basically you level up and get stronger. I'm curious what you thought about it, Moy.
Here's the thing. I don't generally like roguelikes.
Yeah.
So I had 2 hours with it.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the platforming. The control schemes are really good.
Do you play with a controller or a keyboard? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Go on.
But yeah,
Mine's better.
like-
Guess what? I play Black and White on the PC.
Like I said, I was really comfortable with the mechanics and the gameplay, but it just feels like I needed more to it.
Yeah. I don't know. I was actually pretty turned off by the controls personally, but I'm not using a controller. Like it felt like this
I
game
had to use
wants
a controller.
this game wants to be played on a controller with 4
It-
buttons.
yeah. Mhm.
I'm not sure why they can't just there's things you can do to make something friendly for keyboard. And I guess I could make it work, but yeah, like the controls just felt wrong, and the gameplay mechanic, the game kind of revolves around grinding and leveling up.
Exactly.
And if I want to do that, I'll play Disgaea. Grinding level up games, that's a pretty solved problem at this point. And Rogue Legacy doesn't do it particularly better than anything else. So you're just kind of left with this, I don't know, it feels like a Xbox Live Arcade platformer. And I'm not going to pay $15. Like, Spelunky's free,
It's a great game,
Yeah.
by the way.
Spelunky? Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I kind of didn't like it. I read a lot about people liking it, but
Yeah, I heard
They're crazy.
That's one of the main reasons why I picked it up, was because there's all this hype behind it. I'm like, it looks pretty cool. I'll give it a shot. So
Can you get it on PC?
it
did.
only came out on PC.
Oh.
Oh, wait.
What? No,
Yeah,
it's on
Rogue
Xbox
Legacy?
Live.
Rogue Legacy's on Xbox Live?
Oh no, Splunky.
Oh, Spelunky.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, it was originally on PC. It's a free PC game.
It's a free PC game.
Yeah, it's very much on PC. I think,
Is
Yeah.
it multiplayer?
no.
No, it's not.
On Xbox, it might be or something. I know they added stuff.
Aw. Yeah, it's multiplayer. I know it's 2-player co-op on Xbox.
Nah, they may have re-released it on PC with that stuff. I'm not sure, but yeah, But no,
I think I
really
smell a Let's
solid.
Play coming on. I've kind of wanted to play that.
It's a fun game to play, but it's another one of those kick your butt kind of games. It's kind of like playing I Want to Be the Guy, except procedurally generated.
It can't be as bad as I Want to Be the Guy.
It's not as bad, but it's
Is it worse, or is it harder or easier than They Bleed Pixels?
I haven't played They Bleed Pixels, so I can't comment.
Mm.
It seems similar, like a similar level of
Okay.
platforming and action. So
Yeah, I need to finish They Bleed Pixels. I got pretty far, but when I was doing my Let's Play series, my Let's Play series is well behind my actual game progress, and it just I got to the level with the lanterns where you're basically wall sliding the entire level, and I just didn't want to go through that level again. So I might just skip that level for my Let's Play and just load up my actual file. But man, that lantern level is rough.
Well, Spelunky may be for you because you'd never play the same level twice.
Maybe.
But I don't know. It's a fun game. It's a very quick game too. It's something you can just kind of like play for 15 minutes and go on and do what you actually need to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's see.
better than
Anybody
Roblox.
looking forward to any other games coming out soon?
Rome 2.
So
But that's
anyone
a
looking
ways
forward to
off.
any good games coming out soon?
You know, I just
Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
oh Final Fantasy 14. Yeah. Yeah. Can we call Final Fantasy 14 something that's coming out in a couple weeks?
It comes out
'Cause
August
Phase-
27th.
Okay.
So next month sometime. Phase 4 should start soon-ish. We don't know when, probably mid-July, maybe, hopefully.
Man,
Phase
No
4 would
worries.
be nice.
I'm in a pretty good time though. The two big games I'm looking for. Next
Yeah.
month and the one after that.
I did
Just
the
gotta clear
Duty
that
Finder.
backlog.
I started using the Duty Finder last night, and it seems to work out pretty all right. It's just your basic party finding system, which really, if 11 had had that, I think 11 would have done a lot better than it did. Because trying to find a party manually was such, oh,
I think they had a good enough system. I think their problem was class balance issues. Like, even if they had an automated party finder, it'd be impossible to find a party in 11.
oh, because they only had
Unless you were
one viable
Yeah.
tank class that anyone wanted to have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
What? You're not
but-
you're not a ninja tank? Get out.
No, yeah, I think a system of just putting people on a list and like actually having to talk to them to get you into your party and that kind of thing. I think I kind of prefer that to these automated matchmaking systems for MMOs. I mean, it's not gonna piss me off that there's a duty finder, but I do feel it takes away from the part of the aspect of MMOs that makes them great.
The social
Yeah,
aspect.
not just social, but social with like random people on the internet you never would have talked to otherwise, you know. Whereas, yeah, like whenever I party in WoW, I mean, when I did, I tried it out for a week a month ago. Yeah, like parties just felt like working on an assembly line, you know.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
actually, you kind of bring
that's
up
one's done, boom, get the next.
Yeah,
You know,
you
it's-
kind of you bring up a good point there because when I went on the Duty Finder last night, we did the level 18 dungeon, level 20 dungeon, whatever it is, and I got into a party and I was like, "Oh, hey guys, what's going on? Oh, we're all the same race. That's really cool." No one responded. Just like immediately started pulling monsters. Like there was no communication, no anything. But I don't know if that's just. I don't know if the not having a duty finder would help that any.
I don't think you need a duty finder. I mean, I don't mind that they have one that much, but I think a simple list of players looking for parties should be enough. I don't know. I think the recruitment process is a valuable social tool. But whatever. I'll play it anyways. It's not like that's why I like Final Fantasy. I like Final Fantasy 'cause I like being a little Taru, who's cute as a button, and
Your Taru slash
What do you
Lalafell.
play?
Here,
what do you play?
me?
Yeah, well, yeah. What kind of are you? Are you...
I'm playing Atari. Yeah.
All right.
I'm surrounded by short people.
Man, we're gonna have to be buddies in this. This is great. We need to like dance together and stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in to KultCast episode 1.